What the Buddha Taught by Walpola Rahula. The Buddha. The Buddha, his personal name was Siddhartha in Sanskrit, and his family name, Gautama, Sanskrit, Gautama, lived in North India in the 6th century BCE. His father, Suddhodana, was the ruler of the kingdom of the Sakyas in modern Nepal. His mother was Queen Maya. According to the custom of that time, he was married quite young, at the age of 16, to a beautiful and devoted young princess named Yasodhara. The young prince lived in his palace with every luxury at his command, but all of a sudden, confronted with the reality of life and the suffering of mankind, he decided to find the solution, the way out of this universal suffering. At the age of 29, soon after the birth of his only child, Rahula, he left his kingdom and became an ascetic in search of this solution. Well, 28 was the age where I first saw a line on my face, and so was it 28 or 27? I think it was 28. Yeah, it was 28. So you get to this point, oh, I'm aging. It's clear I'm aging. Even though you're at the peak of your drives, it starts to show on you, and then you then you start to decline, and about 40, maybe you go through another stage or something. Soon after the birth of his own Rahula, he left his kingdom and became an ascetic in search of the only solution of this solution. For 6 years, the ascetic Gautama wandered about the valley of the Ganges, meeting famous religious teachers, studying and following their systems and methods, and submitting himself to rigorous ascetic practices. They did not satisfy him, so he abandoned all the traditional religions and their methods and went his own way. It was thus that one evening, seated under a tree, since then known as the Bodhi, or Bo tree, the tree of wisdom, on the bank of the river in Naranjara at Buddha Gaya, near Gaya in modern Bihar. At the age of 35, Gautama attained enlightenment, after which he was known as the Buddha, the Enlightened One. So, see, here's definitely a model that anybody can follow, is go beyond the extremisms of both deprivation, luxury and deprivation, and become enlightened. After his enlightenment, Gautama the Buddha delivered his first sermon to a group of 5 ascetics, his old colleagues, in Deer Park in Isi Patana, modern Sarnath, near Benares. Since that day, for 45 years, he taught all classes of men and women, kings and peasants, Brahmins and outcasts, makers and beggars, holy men and robbers, without making the slightest distinction between them. He recognized no differences of caste or social groupings, and the way he preached was open to all men and women who were ready to understand and to follow it. At the age of 80, the Buddha passed away at Kusinara in modern Uttar Pradesh. Today, Buddhism is found in Ceylon, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Tibet, China, Japan, Mongolia, Korea, Formosa, and some parts of India, Pakistan, Nepal, and also in the Soviet Union. The Buddhist population of the world is over 500 million. And so there's been some great changes in terms of the top religions as far as classifications go. We have, Christianity only if you keep it separate, definitely more than Roman Catholic or Protestant is the Islamic population, but overall, then you have Christianity as number 1 if you have it as a separate group. But there's far more differences between Christian groups than there are a lot of classifications. But then you have Islam, or claimants to Islam. At least a quarter of them aren't Muslim, probably about a third. They have some link to it, but all you have to do to be Christian is you got to worship Jesus somehow. Buddhism would be next. you're pretty close to about 2 billion people now. Yeah, about 2 billion people. Some people would put it as the most because there's all sorts of people with remnants of things. But the influence of one faith, you could even say that Islam has influenced Christianity a lot. The people having roles, women being able to say stuff. Through the founding of America, I shared the translation that one of the founding fathers had. So, but Buddhism proper, we're under a couple billion people, and about a billion people can be called what you would say Hindu. But again, Hindu is a lot of groups, and Buddhism, and Jainism. Why not call them Hinduism? Well, there isn't really too much reason not to call them Hinduism. But again, there's not really a Hindu path, and Buddhism was a way of reinterpreting the old Buddhi yoga that went back thousands of years before into, here are enlightened figures. We're just going to become enlightened. What worship or lack of was associated with these things, it varies.